Hey new friends! Well, welcome to another episode of No Shame, No Filter. This is Heather from Simply Me to You. So there might be a dog nose that makes an appearance. We're just going to ignore and hope that they go lay down. So let's see. I've got somewhat of a bit of a controversial subject I'm going to probably discuss today, and that's healthcare. And I mean, you know, throwing it all out there, I am one of the lucky ones. I am genuinely one of the lucky people in this world who has access to healthcare. And I know I am lucky. But with that being said, that particular kind of luck comes with a price. And let me explain. So, you know, let me hear my way of thinking. I've not been very quiet about it. I'm going through some health stuff. Tomorrow I'm having surgery, so it should be a good time. I have to be there at 6. I think I'm like the first surgery of the day. That's irrelevant. You know, but here in the United States, large employers, a lot of employers still do offer health care to their employees. You know, the company has to pay, you know, X towards that monthly bill, and then some employees, you know, the employer will have the employee, you know, they'll have to pay 10% or 20%, and it comes out of their paychecks. So if they're paid, you know, once a week, you know, every other week, once a month, but part of that, like the employee is paying into the contribution of that health care. And then you have most people in the United States, health insurance, and this is just my personal opinion, health insurance is really basically just bankruptcy protection, because all of the plans, or at least most of the plans, are extremely high deductibles and extremely high maximum out of pockets. This year, oh goodness, I have spent so much money because of these health situations. And I'm having an MRI at the beginning of May. So earlier this week when I was scheduling the MRI, the individual on the other end of the phone indicated that she needed $1,953.96 up front before my MRI could be scheduled, because my maximum out of pocket had not yet been met. And I said, okay, but I'm having surgery on Friday. I'm fairly certain that my maximum out of pocket at that point would have been met. So do you still need this $2,000? And just, you know, I realize this is her job, you know, but in what society have we become so hardened that we don't understand that most people don't just have $2,000? And there are some people who may not have a credit card that allows a charge of $2,000. And, you know, just so like blasé about it. And, you know, chances are after tomorrow, my maximum out of pocket is going to be met, because, you know, between the surgeon and the anesthesiologist and the procedure, and I'm sure that they'll do more blood work because, you know, I think that my body is feeding a family of vampires somewhere with all the blood they keep drawing. Okay, that was me being sarcastic. But healthcare, and keeping in mind, I know that I am one of the lucky ones. You know, my family were right, I mean, middle class, but, you know, the United States was founded on middle class. But middle class is getting smaller and smaller and smaller. Maybe it's getting smaller and smaller and smaller. And there are families, you know, maybe they only have one parent, or maybe the provider is on disability, But some of these families who don't make as much from their employer actually have better health benefits and just better, they have access to more government funding than my family, for example. So as thankful as I absolutely am to live in the United States, as thankful as I am to have access to this health coverage that I have access to, it's also like a really tricky situation, because when you go to the emergency room, they're not going to ask you for money up front, or at least I don't believe they are, because it's an emergency room. And so if it's a true emergency, they're not going to be like, yeah, we're going to need some money first. They're going to allow you to seek medical treatment. But when you have further testing, because, you have to start ruling these situations, these illnesses out, and a CT scan, a CT scan will show so much to a doctor, and then an MRI will show another bit to a doctor, and then the blood work and the blood work and the blood work. So all of these paint a picture of the patient. All of these, but when you have a woman on the end of a telephone, and this is her job, and she's like, yeah, we're going to need that $2,000. What that worries me. The reason why is because if you're someone like me, you're probably a little bit stubborn. And when you start seeing the dollar signs, then it makes stubborn people like me not want to seek medical care. I mean, because all you can see is that, oh, this is going to be another however many $1,000, and that's going to be, that's going to be another however $1,000. So, yes, United States, it's awesome. Hey, it's great. We have access to healthcare. Most of us do. But it has a price. It absolutely has a price. And for the middle class, when did we stop actually just stop having any kind of empathy? And I'm not saying that I want them to do the MRI for free, but instead of saying I need the $2,000 up front, most people are like, hey, Heather, what can you afford to send us on a monthly basis until you get this bill paid off? When you have a neurologist who has said, hey, the next step is an MRI with and without contrast on your brain and spine, it's kind of in your doctor's hands to request that further testing. So when you have someone on the phone who's like, yeah, where's my $2,000? It just comes across as so cold. And this is just an observation. I'm not in medical care. I am just a civilian who has been stubborn and has not received treatments when I should have, because I didn't want to be this financial hardship on my family, because medical bills kind of suck. But here we are. And so I'm so thankful to be here. I am. But I can't be the only person who shares these concerns. I can't be the only person who's like, I'm having a medical situation. I don't have $2,000 or $10,000 or however much money you might require for your testing or the surgery or whatever. How many people are just going to not seek treatment at all because they do not want to be a financial hardship or burden to their families? And that's a human thing. I mean, across the world, that's a human thing. We should all want people to be able to seek and receive treatments. You know, I don't care if you live in the United States or if you live in Portugal or if you live in Germany or Brazil or Costa Rica. That is a human. I mean, every once in a while, humans hurt themselves or we get older and we need professionals to care for us. And when you have, you know, someone who's trying to schedule you an MRI who's like, yeah, give me that $2,000, it rubs me the wrong way. I mean, in this woman's defense, I mean, this is her job, and I'm certain that, you know, she probably talks to, I don't know, 100 people a day and also asks them for $2,000 before they get their MRI scheduled. But, I mean, do you run into anything like this? Do you continue getting the health care that you need because your doctor has requested these follow-up testing and imaging and all that? Do you say, you know what, I've lived a good one, you know, I'm not going to pay these bills? I mean, seriously, I want to know, like, how does your family handle situations like this? Are you stubborn like me and you're like, I'm going to stop going to the doctor because all I see is dollar signs? Or do you say, yes, I'm going to keep seeking treatment because I want to get better? I mean, you know, most of us are somewhere in the middle, right there in middle class. You know, it's great. It's awesome. You know, it is. I am so blessed in so many ways. But when you start facing the fact that you're middle-aged and you are beginning to have these health issues, and then you have, you know, a surgeon that you're discussing things with and a neurologist that you never knew you needed, and, you know, your family general practitioner, and they're all comparing notes and they all want this, it adds up. So let me know, does anyone out there, did you guys stop seeking treatments? Have you continued to seek treatments? Did you file for hardships? How did it go for you? I'd like to know. All right. I'll see you guys next time.